right?
Yep, here we go.
Yeah. We'll let the theme music.
We're the Dream Warriors.
Love that voice.
We won't dream
Dig the vote.
no more.
One
We're
well
the
said.
Dream Warriors.
I'm glad you have a budget for this.
Maybe
Someone's got to like
tonight,
it.
maybe tonight you'll be gone.
Listen to that.
Yeah.
So, this is Peter. We're sitting here with Noem,
Hey, how we doing?
and we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad,
Yep.
the Dream Warriors, and essentially, just going to break the movie down, give our thoughts. We can update everything with the box office.
Yeah. Not not too bad, but not too.
No,
we'll see.
You don't know. We were talking. You don't know what the numbers were, right?
Not the
So-
exact numbers, but I know it took a bit of a hit
So
on Saturday.
in Dream Warriors fashion, what we'll do is we'll jump right to the box office. So we know what Thursday was, right? The 20 million roughly.
Righto.
Fantastic.
Yeah, exceeded expectations.
When I saw the movie on Thursday, I saw this with this other friend of mine, and he was saying like 10 million, and my opinion was between 15 and 17.
Righto.
Because it was tracking very well. The social media wave
Yeah,
was at its crest.
it was getting bigger and bigger as we
Yeah.
were getting closer.
And popped out the 20 million baby, and then right now we're at 135.
Okay.
So it's I think it's a little bit under. It might be 20 million under Batman vs Superman,
Gotcha.
and Batman vs Superman should get that number
Anyway, because it's two titans going head to head.
Yeah, your two biggest guys going head to head. It's a slam dunk in my eyes, and this being a new everything, I still look at it as a original franchise
Oh yeah.
because there's not much in the comics for them to take from,
Nah.
and I really think they took a little bit of the New 52, but they really just said that the hell with.
Well, how many runs have they had in the comics?
They really kind of had 4 big runs.
Okay.
Not big, but attempts. Okay, the one was in the 60s with the Brave and the Bold,
Okay.
and they were more of a military team. They would hunt down like a giant crocodile, stuff like that. Okay, they were almost like a Challengers of the Unknown
Okay.
for like practical missions compared to the Challengers of the Unknown. More Earth-based, less fantasy. Okay, if you don't know who Challengers of the Unknown are, that's DC Comics Fantastic Four
Okay.
that they've kind of abandoned, and right now they would be awesome like as a movie, because you can make that movie and do all the Fantastic Four stuff and just like take away that steam. And then what happened was you had the Crisis on Infinity Earths.
Right.
Okay, so we call that post-crisis. So we're hitting the 80s, and they came up through a mini-series called Legends.
Okay.
It might have been like issue 2 or 3. They kind of brought the team back, and then that jumped into a its own series. Okay, so that was, and I would say like that's the height.
Okay.
Okay, and at that point, it was written by a guy named John. I'm butchering his name, like Oslander.
Okay.
And if you in the movie, the one of the buildings is named after him.
Okay.
It's like a bank building. I'm pretty sure it's the one that they rescued Waller out of.
Right.
The building that she's holed up in is where they go. Okay, and
Gotcha.
you see it like right there. Like it's, and I thought that was a great nod. So at that point, the New 52 comes around. So we're jumping ahead, and they put Harley Quinn on the team.
Okay.
They toughen the team up, like more violent, a little bit in reaction to what Marvel did with the Thunderbolts.
Righto.
At that point, the Thunderbolts had Deadpool, Punisher, Red Hulk, Elektra, and I'm pretty sure Venom.
Okay.
So it was just murderers. Like, just, okay?
Cold-blooded killers.
Yeah. And the biggest takeaway from the New 52 was this evolved Harley Quinn. New design, new costume design. Might have been designed by Jim Lee.
Okay.
The greatest ever. I think he's greater than Jack Kirby, and I know that's blasphemous, but the guy's just endless. He makes you care about DC characters. And it's, to me, caring about DC characters in the comics is so freaking hard.
I believe it.
Because they do what they do. So they put a new design, new Harley Quinn, new attitude Harley Quinn. She's not so connected, like, neurologically to the Joker.
Yeah, she's not so Mr. J.
Yeah, she's independent. And at that point, what they did with Waller, which was highly, like, very interesting. And let me just give me 1 second. I'm going to just make sure we're still recording. I think we are. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Waller in the New 52 is a skinny, hot black baby.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she has trouble eating.
Okay.
So,
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, so I think if the New 52 kept going, she would have bloated up.
Okay.
I think that was the intention. And what they did with Waller was they put Waller on an earlier incarnation of this, like, they might have been called Team 7. They were a Black Ops team. Only lasted a few issues. So within the New 52, they set up Waller as an operative. So she, has an institutional knowledge, and she knows her way around the government black tape, red tape, whatever type of tape.
Okay.
She can get things done, and they set her up as almost again like a Nick Fury. So the New 52 Suicide Squad didn't last too long.
Okay.
And that's about it. So with Suicide Squad, you have something very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy,
where it just never took off.
Yeah, it was just ideas in the ether of the comic, like, continuity for both companies. Just something floating around, like, the membrane, and every decade get resurfaced and maybe get 3 years out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, wasn't Guardians' longest run like 18 issues?
Might have been 18. There was a Future Guardians that lasted
like 2099, right?
Yeah, but they were strictly Guardians of the Galaxy. They were all in this, like, future. I don't know what future number, because they all have numbers now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that got up to issue 50.
Okay.
Might have been like 50 or 60. And that was still during the 90s. So you had, I'm trying to remember, because, you had landmark issues.
Okay.
So, like, I think issue 50 might have been Galactus and had this hollow foil, like, etched cover. Just, like, awesome stuff. Like,
true 90s style.
Yeah. And, it did its work. Suicide Squad, the reason why it always came back is because the idea kind of cuts ice. It cuts glass. It explodes. It's a crazy awesome idea.
It's comic book Expendables.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about.
And it's something simple. So yeah, the movie did 135.
Right.
Okay, made by David Ayers, and I think I had a little bit more of a background with him.
You definitely do. I'm pretty sure this is the first David Ayers movie I've seen.
So up until this point, prepping to see the movie, I hadn't seen Fury yet. I've only saw Fury in a little bit of a chunk, and he's really good with writing villains. I think he writes villains in every one of his movies. Every single one of his movies are all villains. If you go back to Harsh Times, that's a Christian Bale movie. Okay. And then there's Street Kings, End of Watch, Sabotage, Training Day.
Okay, I've seen Sabotage.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm familiar enough with End of Watch to know.
So Sabotage too, like, and everyone within that team.
Mm-hmm.
But you just don't like.
Right, yeah. They're all unlikable assholes.
Yeah. Fury did that too.
Okay.
And it's great because they're killing Nazis. And, Brad Pitt's character just kills Nazis and has this hatred for them. like in the way that he doesn't want to get out of the war. Like they kind of balance it out in other movies.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt just wants him dead.
I gotcha.
And if the war goes on for 20 more years, he'll be happy roaming around Germany, hunting down Nazis. So, I think every single one of his movies, including the ones I like, like I thought Sabotage was great. Ending could have been better.
Yeah.
Fury ending could have been better.
Okay.
Training Day could have been better because if you didn't see that, like Denzel he dies at the end of that, spoiler. If you didn't see that coming, then
yeah, I mean he's a dirty cop.
You're not really watching the movie. I think End of Watch is his most complete effort.
Okay.
So he's a capable guy. I think it was the right material for the right dude. I think for what happened in that movie, I think it was very well done. It was unique, and I'm pretty sure with the second time seeing it that it worked.
Mm-hmm. It had great pacing.
It worked
like
it
kept my attention.
Okay. So and that point is when they rescued Waller.
Yeah.
That's really where the movie falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
But real quick, so we're going to jump back to Ayers real quick. So a lot of his material harkens to the Los Angeles, somewhat Compton, like inner city thug, and that's Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that's how he was able to put more into Diablo than what people were expecting. Going into the movie, it was easy for me to see that.
Okay.
I knew Diablo would be a focus, despite the wave of reviews and criticism that I was aware of before I saw it. It was easy for me to understand that. That wasn't a shock to me. He has a affinity for characters like that, and
I can see that.
And it comes off very. It's almost like 80s Spielberg with children.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It clicked for him. Errors. This is what clicks, and you know what? Comments he made about Marvel, and what he said in response to criticism of Suicide Squad. The guy is gangster.
Yeah.
Like
he
just throws
you write what you
haymakers.
know.
Like
you write what you know. Try and tell me Scorsese's not in the mob. Just try and tell me.
Yeah. So the movie kind of took a turn. You and I both agree, but I wanted to touch on something I think people are missing. And the people, I think anyone listening to this already has seen the movie.
Right.
And I'm hoping because, we're just not going to protect our opinions because of spoilers. So, that's a new Dream Warriors policy. Right
okay.
There.
Cool.
So
meant to ask you before we started.
Yeah.
Is this spoiler free?
Yeah, I just want to go.
Okay. That works.
Whatever you want to talk about, whatever I want to talk about.
Screw you. You should have saw the movie before you clicked.
Yeah. So, the big criticism that I had while I was watching it the first time was, why would you put this team together to fight a female Doctor Strange?
Right, and you said that to me going in.
I said that going in because I think you just were curious. I wasn't trying to spoil anything.
No, it was no spoiler. I mean, it kind of cleared things up because going into it, I thought she was actually going to be part of the team.
Yeah.
From the way that it was all built up, I figured she was one of the early expendable ones because she wasn't in too many commercials.
Yeah.
And like most people, I thought the Joker was going to be the big baddie. And then after that Hot Toys came out, you devious, cheating bastards, I was like, there's going to be some kind of Joker-Batman fight at the end with the Suicide Squad.
Or just the Joker just being nuts.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's kind of my biggest disappointment is how much of him was lacking.
Yeah, so, real quick, the Hot Toys we're referencing is a Joker-Batman.
Right.
Hot Toys.
Green and purple bat suit.
And I would have lost my shit.
Right.
If
my
If
God.
it went there. And there was a side of me that thought it was going to go that way because in that, the the one that they call Boxer Joker, the one with him with the purple alligator skin trench coat.
That's you're referencing the Pop, right?
Yeah, the Pop. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's in the other action figures and stuff too. They call him Boxer because he's wearing boxer shorts, like not underwear boxer shorts, but actual boxer shorts, and they have the Bat logo all over them, and it kind of established him being not obsessed, but like him defining the Dark Knight as his foe,
his plaything.
Yeah. As let me just turn off my phone. Yeah, and I just thought it was in line to that revelation. And like some of his tattoos,
right,
kind of were about the Dark Knight. So it would if they did that, I would have fucking won. I would have went nuts.
Oh, definitely.
And it would have been great. So here's a little bit of what I think people are missing, and I missed it. So you have this criticism that how can you have essentially a team of non-meta humans,
right,
going up against a meta that Superman would have trouble beating, that you would like even the Man of Steel would have trouble fighting the Enchantress.
Right.
Okay?
It would almost take like Superman and the Flash, a distraction and a striker.
Like, okay, yeah. So here's what this is what occurred to me. The mission was not to fight the Enchantress.
Right.
The mission was to rescue Waller. This HP-19 whatever code name that they designate to her. Rick Flag is the only one that knows that they're extracting her.
Right.
So that's the mission. When the Joker hijacks the helicopter and steals Harley, that's a hijacked helicopter.
Right.
That was their extraction. They were all supposed to go.
Yep.
And then Waller gets her single ride. Okay?
Right.
And she leaves and she says, I'm sending a Huey for you.
Yep.
Okay? And then that's where the story kind of takes a turn.
Right.
So the mission never was to fight the Enchantress. The mission was to move through an urban center, okay, and extract the target, rescue the girl, essentially. So she did assemble a team that could do it, and they reference it when they get into that control room.
Right.
She's saying you needed them, you could not have done this, and he fumbles his excuse or whatever. So that's the mission. So now we have something everyone hates. Okay, up until that point, I think the movie should have ended, or they could have filled in more about Slipknot. They could have had more Joker.
Oh yeah, they should have fleshed him out from the get-go. To bring him in right before the mission starts with no...
you all know,
So it would have been nice to flesh him out and then kill him, because I would have cared a little bit.
I'm trying to remember. I think in the original run, I'm almost positive Boomerang talks him into doing that.
I believe it.
I think that is something that they took from those first couple issues, but it doesn't matter because everyone saw that coming. But at the same time, you're taking other elements away to push this encounter with the Enchantress.
Right.
Okay. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have tried to resolve the Enchantress. You don't know what happens sometimes. But it definitely was a bad decision.
Yeah.
Because they were too weak to fight her.
Exactly. In all honesty, since they already spent the budget and took the time of doing that little Flash cameo to get Boomerang, he really should have just popped up at the end to give them a hand if it was going to be them going up against him. Then you're kind of fleshing him out a little bit before you're just going to throw him into the Justice League after Wonder Woman.
Or something. And here's the other thing that's a little bit missed. That's not coming out about this. So, everyone was upset about Man of Steel, right? Decimating Metropolis. And I get that because I think during that fight, there was no heroic moments. And that's the only thing you needed in that. You only need a couple heroic moments.
Right.
Of what you saw of Superman earlier in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when he's growing up.
Yeah.
Okay, and those are great moments.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You know, the bus and the oil rig. Really cool stuff.
He's too worried about kicking Zod's ass and not catching the people falling from the building.
And he's supposed to be Superman. He can do both.
Exactly.
So,
or he'll die trying.
and people get upset about that. That goes into the actual story to the point that it becomes part Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
And then we get the final conflict for that in, I guess, an island, right? There's an island between Metropolis and Gotham City in the geography of that movie. So, what they put Metropolis and Gotham like almost like across from each other.
Yeah, you could see the old bat light from Metropolis, which
Yeah.
is just mind-boggling.
Which is crazy. Yeah, and then there's an island that they fight Doomsday on.
Right.
Okay. So nothing, no collateral. It's an empty island. You know, it's the Rock. Okay.
On a side note, while
Yeah.
we're talking geography, I meant to ask you last night. What comic reference is the Midway City? Is that where they were?
I'm not. You know what? I'm not 100%.
Because they said the city name like 3 times,
Yeah,
and
it
I was
was-
like, well, it's not Flash.
it was
It's not.
Midway. Yeah, I'm not even sure. We should maybe try and look.
Because
that
I was
up, right?
curious about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
kept. That's one
Coast
of
City is Green Lantern, right?
the- Yes. So
And
let's
then
see.
we got Central, Starling, or Star, depending on what incarnation, Gotham, Metropolis, Atlantis, Amazonia.
Says it's loosely around Chicago.
I was telling where DC had a Chicago.
Yeah, it's just a. I don't think there's any hero
Based out of Midway
that's
City.
based out of Midway. It's just one of the. Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that name before, though. That's strange.
Yeah, I mean, people have like. There's been incarnations, it says here on Wiki, of Doom Patrol. Hawkman, Hawkgirl seem to occupy it at one time.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so it's actually a throwaway DC city. So yeah, and then you have Midway, that gets complete right. That city becomes shut down. She
Pretty much.
she takes it over.
Yeah.
Okay. So the collateral damage yet in DC movies has not slowed down.
No.
So so already it just seems to be a world that's slowly crumbling to the will of these metahumans in the DC film
Right.
and it does not sit well like at all. It just doesn't really make. I mean, at least like you can compare them to the Marvel movies, but the Marvel movies when they do citywide destruction, it doesn't seem devastating.
Right. Right.
Like, it's you know, like, but it doesn't seem.
It's always contained and manageable.
Yeah, 'cause-
Even the invasion in New York, like, you don't have 30 skyscrapers falling. Sure, you have windows smashing and explosions happening, but it's all manageable.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 skyscrapers come down from the Leviathan coming through.
Yeah, because this one you had building after building.
And Batman
Empty.
versus Superman, you have
Yeah. So
12 fallen because Zod punched Superman through him. Like,
So this is one of the things I wanted to ask you about. So I think this was another mess in the movie, and not a lot of people have touched on it. The Rick Flag relationship with Enchantress.
mm-hmm.
Did you buy into that?
Not really.
Did you feel like, even like at the bar scene when he's like, "Did you read the part that I was in love with her?" Like
we were sleeping together.
Yeah, like
It's so
I
it
didn't
just
buy
felt
any of
forced.
that.
It felt forced.
I don't know if it was.
They
You
needed
didn't
something
spend
to
enough
tether
time.
him to the team. That
Yeah.
was
Or you don't have that element. Like you find that they had a way to control her,
Mhm.
which is you just find the heart.
right,
And
which
that's
they
it.
had.
So I don't know what the love part had to do with it, other than the motivation at the end to do something that they weren't sent out to do.
Right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so, but at the end of the day, I thought that even hurt the movie because I every time he talked about her, I did not feel invested.
Yeah.
At all.
No, it was just forced.
Boomerang got a lot of criticism.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame. He had like a stolen moment in the movie for me.
Yeah,
I was cracking
when he
up
bucks out
when
of
he
the,
when
bar?
when
Yeah,
everybody
we were
gets
like,
their bombs shut off and he realizes
grabs the
he
beers.
grabs like 3 beers off of the bar and just
Yeah.
runs out the door, doesn't look back.
He definitely needed. I don't know why he didn't get a shot of filling the screen up with boomerangs
Right.
and just doing what he can do. I don't understand how he literally got no action time.
Yeah, no, they didn't flesh him out at all.
Yeah, and which was weird because on a character sense, he served a big purpose. But he was an agitator of everybody.
Yeah.
Like even to the end, when Waller puts him in solitude.
Back in the cage.
Like
yeah.
everyone
Yep.
got what they wanted, and he ends up in solitude. And I just thought that was like the funniest thing. So and I don't understand because they had an opportunity to take something corny, and they could have done something with Boomerang.
Yeah.
That made him lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's weird because again I get it. I get that Will Smith and like Will Smith like opened that movie. Like,
Yeah.
he was the only one that people knew going into it, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like he needed 1 or 2 of those dead shot moments where you just really saw the guy being deadly and lethal. Even
Well, a good
like
chunk
even-
of them needed it. Like
Yeah.
everyone kept, all the reviews, all the good reviews that I read said like Killer Croc stole the show in the end. For me, he really didn't. Did I miss something?
Well, no. So here's a little bit of what I think happened. Remember those early Twitter reviews came out?
Right, and then there's like
Okay.
2 cuts of the movie,
Yeah. So
or
those Twitter reviews all said that the Joker was fantastic.
Mhm.
You're going to love Batman. The movie delivers on all levels. And yeah, there were a couple people that said Killer Croc had me cracking up at the end. Had like stole the show at the end.
right.
So does that mean it's like the BET thing? I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
really
what
sure. So he didn't do that. Right, the audience really didn't care.
Right.
Like that we were at both of the audiences that I saw it with. So he got like no notes. He got like a couple more giggles with the second crowd,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing crazy. So and then the early Twitter reviews that came out at the premiere, the Wednesday, were echoing their own different tone, which was positive.
Okay.
Positive overall. So that was just echoed. And then the real stuff came out, and it was just it was all like linear. It was all coherent, and everyone had the same problems. So here's a little bit of my take. If there was like universal perception that Boomerang doesn't really do anything in the movie,
Right.
Like, they just feel like his character's paper.
I mean, 90% of them are Katana, Boomerang.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean Boomerang's like the performance doesn't have nuance and there's not ticks within it. But at the end of the day, if the overwhelming majority picks up on this, they're picking up on it because they want to watch the movie,
Right.
and that's the only thing they care about. They're not film critics. Katana completely wasted. Okay.
Yep.
We were discussing leaving the movie that I don't understand how she's the only one with a magical weapon that couldn't have any power against a magical foe.
Right.
So magic doesn't beget magic in the DC film U. That was just confusing. She could have been taken. She could have been out of the movie because here's the funny thing: the 2 times Rick Flag gets into trouble. Okay.
It's the squad that saves him.
The squad saves him, not Katana.
Right.
Okay. Katana needed a moment to be his bodyguard.
Right.
Like something snapped.
They all
and
did.
Someone, or I think it would have been awesome if Katana, like killed Slipknot. like if Slipknot tried to get Flag as opposed to trying to escape. Because at that point, it sounded like you didn't buy the
neck explosives.
Yeah, because like you saw how nuts Waller is.
Which is fleshed out throughout the movie even more when she kills half
Yeah.
her Argus people,
and
then shoots down a helicopter in the city that's occupied with people. Let's just shoot down a helicopter because the Joker has it into the streets.
So here's a little bit of one of my questions. So the and this movie had too many helicopters going down.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one that goes down. Who shot that down?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, because they kind of establish that some of these like putties.
That's a good way to describe them.
That some of them, like if the host has a gun or is military, they can fire a weapon because there is other weapon fire in the movie.
Yeah,
but that's not established. Just talking artists here, I think the design for them was maybe the worst. Yeah. Like the worst of a Legion that we've seen.
Yeah.
Like, they're really bad.
They look like just caviar monsters.
Yeah. Just
straight up caviar monsters.
Yeah, it's really so I'm going through some of my notes here. A lot of people miss what Enchantress, we talked about this, what Enchantress says at the end. About the rise of magic is coming from the metahumans,
right?
And the age. This is a new age.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. Would have been nice if that was elaborated on a little bit.
Yeah, that's where I'm saying they could have. You already sprung the money for the Flash. Just kind of use him a little bit more.
How cool would it have been if they really? Because I like how they went all in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If there was another like DC hero that maybe like
cameoed busting a squad member,
or like
it would have been nice. It would have been nice.
That shows up at that like towards that moment at the end, like Doctor Fate.
Yeah.
Or Constantine.
That would have been very cool.
If Constantine showed up.
Oh man, especially if they got Matt Ryan, who's doing the dark voice for the cartoon. That fanboys would have shit themselves.
So did they fail in introducing more of the DC proper magic? I think so, right?
I think they failed in that respect, and I think they failed in making me care about characters. Because by the end of this movie, a villain that you've paid handsomely, I'm sure, for the face of Will Smith to have, he's not really a villain anymore.
Yeah.
So you can't have him in a Batman movie. You can't. Are you gonna try and give me a Deadshot movie now? Maybe with Boomerang, turn that into a buddy.
I would
Deadpool DC style because
I think
they both love unicorns.
Yeah. So here's a little bit of my take in Deadshot. Again, I think something people are missing, and we'll talk about the dream sequences.
Right.
Because we both were aligned, even though I had a little bit more time to think about mine. So we agree that the Deadshot one was off.
Right.
The Harley Quinn one was off.
Yes.
The Rick Flag one was fine.
For what it was, yeah.
And the Diablo one was just creepy.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the funny thing. Harley Quinn would never, right?
Right.
Never,
they did it backwards, like you were saying last night.
They did it backwards. But here's the funny thing. If you go with the Deadshot one, his fantasy is to kill Batman.
Right.
So in the movie, like, you think he's kind of, right? Like, you think he's normal somewhat. Because he's vocal and he says things and he's funny. He's, triangle bitch.
Right, yeah.
But his fantasy is it's still murder. Like, he's not turned.
Right, no.
He's still a bad guy.
Yes.
And I think, again, everyone kind of missed on that, but it doesn't take away from it. They should have been flipped.
Right.
Okay. So here, real quick, let me answer, because people were commenting, a lot of comments on the editing. Everyone tried to talk like that they know editing. Everyone says that the editing for the movie was off and horrible.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you. I don't really no editing per se.
I didn't pick up on anything.
I know
it was
an
great.
enjoyable movie and a movie that I don't like. I thought the pacing for this was good. Like, my biggest issue with Batman versus Superman. The third act just falls apart.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's DC's curse. Marvel has the 3 strikes. Your third movie's crap. DC has our third act is crap.
Yeah. And,
A trilogy of acts, a trilogy of movies.
and what about the music?
What's
your view on the music?
I thought the soundtrack was good, although it's kind of perplexing me why now all of a sudden every comic book movie is just throwback.
Yeah,
Can't we get something a little?
I think because from a publishing comparison, I think because of the similarities with Guardians
Mm-hmm.
and how I think both movies had a similar tone and humor.
Right.
That this is a format now.
Yes.
It's a way to present these characters, and you know what? I think with using catchy music when you're introing a character establishes the mood of the character, and like in a way that we really don't see. I think it's a newer technique that's emerging, especially Star-Lord in the beginning of Guardians.
Yeah. Great scene.
Cherry Bomb when the Guardians are gearing up.
Right.
Fantastic. Okay. This is very similar. I think for this movie though, they did they did Eminem.
Yeah.
Okay. While they're gearing up, I don't think that got over as well.
Right.
But it's still
because that one was just out of place. All the rest of them had that like the oldies throwback, and then in the middle you got Eminem getting down.
And
with
I think it was a little too literal.
Yeah.
It was a misfire, but it's still the same attempt.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same approach. I'm not really against it. I don't think Guardians 2 is going to have so many of those moments. I think it'll have a good poppy soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to have moments that define characters like it did, because Guardians, unless they introduce different characters.
Well, I mean, we're supposedly getting 3 new ones in that, additions to the team.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
we have Nebula, Yondu, Manus.
Yeah, so exactly.
Baby Groot might have his own little new thing going on.
So real quick, so overall, what do you think?
Star-Lord's dad.
Yes. Oh, well,
Stallone.
We all know how that's going to even handle.
Stallone?
Yeah, Stallone could have. What is he doing in that movie?
I don't know.
Do you know?
Apparently, people saw him on set kind of dressed up as like Judge Dredd. So I'm almost wondering if he's Nova.
Oh, or he could be one. Well, he can't be Nova.
Like Nova Prime.
He's got it, or maybe he's one of the. Yeah, maybe he could be a Nova Corps member.
Something.
Yeah, because
maybe
Nova,
is Glenn Close coming back? Maybe they're
maybe,
switching.
Or maybe he's above her, like on the military sense or something. Or because Nova essentially in the comics works as a teenager. Like he's a young dude. He's almost like a Bobby Drake.
Okay.
Like an Iceman.
I didn't know
Human
that.
Torch. Okay. I think now he's even younger. I think he's really young now in the comics. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but Nova is another example of it's like their Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
It's a concept that's been around, has never lasted on its own for more than a few years.
What if he's Adam Warlock?
He can't be Adam Warlock.
I'm just saying.
But
what if he was? But what?
That Guardians, the post-credit sequence for Guardians has got to be that cocoon opening with like an arm coming out to set up what could possibly kill Thanos in Infinity War.
Right.
It's got to be, and shame on Fox for allowing Marvel to do that, because they have claimed Adam Warlock.
I didn't know that.
He came up through Fantastic Four. So Fantastic Four, I think early Fantastic Four, like 50 or issue 62 or 63 or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that character had its resurgence in the 70s with Jim Starlin.
Okay.
Who wrote it. And Starlin is the guy that created like what I consider like Marvel Cosmic proper.
Okay.
And since at that point, 2 guys, Lanning and Abnett, are the guys that came back to write Guardians, that redid the Cosmic proper.
Okay.
Okay, because there was a gap within the 90s. You had the Infinity Gauntlet, and it was like too much Cosmic. They drove it into the ground, and those two guys brought it back and went more towards the Starlin stuff than what happened in the 90s, because in the 90s it was just nuts. But Adam Warlock emerged as the opposite of Thanos. The only guy that could wield the Infinity Gauntlet without
going insane, which he inevitably does anyway.
Right.
But am I mistaken in he's the Captain Marvel that died of cancer and came back?
No,
or is he a different character completely?
So there's been multiple Captain Marvels. The Captain Marvel that died of cancer was I think it was Malval. That was the pronounced and he was just like one of a soldier, like of a line.
Okay.
And he was just like a powered alien, essentially. There was one before him. There was even a African American girl with an afro in the 80s.
Okay.
The all white Captain Marvel. And at that point, I'm pretty sure they stuck with Captain Marvel being a female.
Well, I know there was the blue one. The guy who had like the blue skin. He was almost with the stars and whatnot.
I think that might be one of the Ultimate ones. But either way, yeah, they did work him back. I'm pretty sure that was the Ultimates.
Okay.
But if it's the blue one, we're replacing the blue with the green from Marvel, like 616.
Okay.
It's fucking complicated. But, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, but overall, was Suicide Squad, was it trash? Was it?
I don't think it's trash. It's a fun popcorn movie. If you're going into a movie expecting 100% coherent storytelling, not that it's not.
To a point,
it just
like it's the logical leap at the end that if these guys can go up against the Enchantress, and that's literally where it falls apart.
I guess my biggest problem is you have this Expendables team, and there's really no weight. You kill one guy before we even know him, and then you kind of kill another one that we don't even really see happen. I felt more for the soldier underneath who had to push the button to detonate it, knowing like I'm about to die, to just blow a hole through
and real quick, Joker. Good. Yeah.
Good from what I saw.
So
the only criticism that I have, like I could get past the tattoos, which I'm still not totally crazy about, and I wish the tattoo parlor was in the movie.
There was so much of that was obviously not there.
It's that slight gangster twinge. I get they made him a gang, but he has that like 1950s that's my girl.
Yeah,
say,
but do you think
he's almost like a too Bugsy, like if you will, cartoon.
That scene in like the strip club or whatever. Mm-hmm. Even though it was stupid that he like shot him, but up until that point though, because it does like jump cuts.
Yeah.
Like, but what, like, I thought that was unsettling. To kind of like, because you don't even know what Harley's like motivation is, but she goes all in on like that tattooed common guy.
Yeah,
like she goes all in on what the Joker wants, and you don't know what the two of them are doing in that scene.
Right.
Like what's the play here? Okay, because obviously the Joker just can't go around killing whoever because he needs like business partners.
Right.
He needs
people need to play nice.
He needs like a board. Okay, but at the same time, dude, like he's like this guy who's in the club with him is like a bad motherfucker.
Right.
And the Joker is like unsettling that guy, and I thought that was like an awesome scene.
Definitely.
Because even with her, just the way how she just goes from like dancing, and she's like, "You want to be my boyfriend?" or "I think you're cute," and you're almost like, "Dude, like what is happening?"
I won't even lie. I was feeling for Common when Jared Leto got right up in his face and said, I forget what he says, but he's like inches away, and I just felt chills. Like
and there's so
he's
many,
a solid Joker.
There's many lines in the trailers that are not in.
Right.
Like, I want to show you my toys and stuff. Like, what is that even? Like, what's he referencing in that?
Well, I mean, we might actually get more of that Common backstory in deleted scenes. There might be something there.
I'm sick of these.
I feel you. I don't want it either.
I'm sick of it. But either way, I just think the move that they have to do now, and they gotta announce it tomorrow, meaning Monday. is they need the Harley Joker movie that sets up the Batman solo movie.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think teasing the Dark Knight the way they've been doing, even back BBS is a tease for that solo movie.
Right.
Teasing him in this context with those two is just nuts.
Yeah.
And I thought he was a little misused. Everyone says he was used like perfectly, but you only saw him in the beginning of the movie.
Right. He's in a flashback, a dream sequence.
And I hate that he's like a Deadshot. Like Deadshot now is a Batman villain.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah. He should just be DC villain because he's a world assassin.
They didn't have to do that, and I think they should have had him take out Deadshot.
Yeah.
Like he had to drop on him. He says this thing, I don't want to do this in front of your daughter. He should have had him like almost like Christian Bale, like disassemble that guy's ability to draw a weapon.
Yeah.
Like dissect the joints
and
inflict the punishment. Okay. Because I think the Christian Bale Batman would like.
He'd have 2 broken hands. He's not picking up a gun.
He would just be like, okay, like doom doom doom. Okay. But
well, I mean, even that Batman. How many people did he kill in Batman versus Superman? And you're going to arrest the world's most deadly assassin.
I know.
You're killing low-level guys left and right.
This one?
But I'm sorry, your daughter's here, so I'm just going to take you in. But shoot that son of a bitch.
That's them trying to. But see, that's a lot of the stuff you heard in those initial early reviews. They corrected that in this one. So was that the scene they were referencing?
Yeah, right.
It's stupid.
Yeah. No, it's
so here's the thing. So with the Rotten Tomatoes petition and all of that, I kind of do feel there's like a Warner Brothers initiative to create hype and to drive down like bad reviews. I really do, because we've kind of had 2 movies now that had this initial Twitter wave.
Right.
Kind of like probably paid reviews that hit the blogosphere. Some of them get published. And everything comes out in the wash.
Right.
Okay. But I think it's very misleading. I think being more cognitive over the movies you're making and the decisions around those movies is the best type of advertising.
Definitely.
We saw it work for Civil War.
I mean, it's worked for all of Marvel. Their track record is what excites me for what's coming.
Yeah. So real quick. Maybe we'll talk more about this next time. Over or under? Over or under? Will Doctor Strange be the biggest 3D movie ever?
No. It'll be up there.
I think it will be. I think it's going to overtake whatever Avatar did.
I'll say it'll be maybe top 3, guaranteed top 10.
I think there's going to be a trailer that comes out that will push those 3D tickets, that will show more of what that movie looks like in 3D. Because the psychedelic stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited. Itself. Like I gotta look it up, but I would think Finding Dory had strong 3D numbers, but the trend's over at that point, and kind of the 3D trend might be over, right? There's less and less 3D screenings, and everything's just like real HD or whatever, or like super res.
I mean, I still see a fair amount of 3D screenings.
So maybe this. I wonder if those projectors are outfitted for 3D. Like
they
regardless,
are.
Like
they
those
are.
IMAX, like regardless of whatever. I don't know. It's interesting. I would take the over because I think that's a part of that movie that fires the imagination.
Oh, definitely.
I
mean, it'll draw in a crowd, but
all right. Well, look, let's wrap it up. Dream Warriors, wrapping it up. We have a concert to go to.
Right.
Are we drinking? We kind of drank a lot yesterday.
Yeah, no, I'm good on the drinking.
Did you get beer shots out of you?
No.
I did, dude.
No, I didn't even have a hangover.
No, I didn't. But dude, like whatever. I think it's just because we were drinking kind of like erratically throughout the day, and I was just eating garbage. But dude, like it cut through my. Like I woke up today and it was like photo finish.
I was pretty golden.
But we should at least I got a couple.
I'll probably grab one. I only got like 25 after paying for parking here in the toll, and a beer's gonna be like $18.
So I got man.
I know, but
No, you're doing this. Will take you got and this entire time we've been drinking Ecto Cooler.
Hey yo.
We ball so hard.
Yeah.
So like you're souped up on Monster Uber.
Yep, Monster Uber, a Red Bull.
Bioactivated.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I have my Reanimator coffee.
Ah.
Yeah.
Beyond Reanimator?
Nah,
like Jeffrey Combs coffee?
Nah, it's just like.
Well, what the hell you telling me about it
PA
for?
brewed coffee. That's like double. It's a double caffeine shot.
Well, at least it's local.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I can appreciate that. That's fine. That's fine. Plug the locals.
Yeah.
It's good.
And so we got things coming up too, right? I'm narrowing everything for YouTube.
Right.
We're building you a YouTube show.
Yep. That'll be coming soon.
Beyond the Norm.
Beyond the Norm.
And what you'll talk about just really Abby normal movies.
Out of the realm, out of left field.
I love it.
Kind of how the hell did this get made?
You have a affinity for that.
I do. I love crap movies.
I don't.
You know, on a side note, I watched Sharknado 4 over the weekend. I did. And I
haven't
recorded.
seen any of them.
Well, Steve Guttenberg actually has the Lavalantula movie that I didn't know about, and Lavalantula 2 just aired. Steve Guttenberg's looking pretty jacked.
Yeah.
I only bring him up because a couple of times we've referenced him on the show, and he's back.
Well, and for VHS Adventures, we got one of his movies.
Yep.
So good. So we got a lot going on.
Hopefully a Pet Shop commentary.
Yeah.
God willing.
And we will.
DeLuca.
Yeah, we'll be. Well, here's the thing. So the YouTube channel was supposed to launch last Thursday.
Right.
Or Wednesday.
Okay.
And as soon as I sat down to finalize everything, there was literally an avalanche of extra other work I had to do. Okay, just stuff I overlooked, and I'm still doing it, marching towards it. So I pushed it back to this Wednesday.
Right.
So probably by the time people listen to the next episode.
Okay.
But everything's gonna be linked up. It's always linked, and yeah, that's it. And I guess we'll shoot for. We have a couple more episode topics to go through.
Right.
I wanted to elaborate. I think maybe we should just sit down and talk about VHS Adventures.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do with that, and have that as a extension to, because we'll have 2 episodes off relatively soon.
Okay. Dope.
And then we gotta, summer's ending. We gotta do more filming or find more places to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yard sales will be drying up soon, so we might want to.
Yeah, do a round of just driving around Jersey and PA. All right, we'll sign off. Say goodbye.
Alrighty.
Goodbye. We're good.